First, let me present you with some factual information. I know some of you may already be apprised of this, but for those of you that are not, I want to give that to you so you can have it. On Wednesday, April 19th, at shortly after 9 a.m., in the 100 block of Lois Lane, which is directly behind 193 South Calumet Road here in Chesterton, we received a call of a vehicle parked against a dumpster with a female occupant slumped over the wheel. That person was later identified as Nicole Gland, a 24-year-old female with an address in Portage, Indiana. Upon initial arrival, officers observed that there was some traumatic injuries and violent injuries to the body of Nicole Gland. Detectives, investigators were summoned to the scene, and everybody quickly responded, including the Porter County coroner. The crime scene and surrounding areas were processed and searched, and the victim was eventually released to the custody of the Porter County coroner, who later completed an autopsy, the results of which he is partially released and probably is available to most of you already. As stated, the victim was identified as Nicole Gland. She's employed as a bartender at the Upper Deck Lounge here in Chesterton, and she was working on the evening prior to this incident. Information obtained through the investigation indicated that Nicole left the bar at approximately 2:51 a.m. on April 19th. Her vehicle was later observed in its final resting point at 3:45 a.m. by a passerby. Through the investigation, a primary suspect was identified as Christopher M. Dillard, male, white, 50 years of age, with an address of Hobart, Indiana. Mr. Dillard, at the time of this incident, was an employee at the Upper Deck Lounge, employed as a bouncer, or he referred to himself as a doorman, but he was not working at the time of the incident. Late in the afternoon of Wednesday, April 19th, the Chesterton Police Department received a tip from the Hobart Police Department leading us to Christopher Dillard. The information contained in that was that Christopher Dillard's significant other saw the information, whether it would be in news or social media release, and found some items missing from the residence, which led her to believe that Mr. Dillard might be a person of interest for us. Mr. Dillard was found by Hobart Police Department and detained for questioning for us. Upon his arrival, as well as that of his vehicle at the Chesterton Police Department, we commenced to interview him. Mr. Dillard admitted to being at the Upper Deck Lounge at 11:30 p.m. on April 18th. The purpose of his visit was to drop off a prearranged delivery of controlled substances to Nicole Gland, and he admitted to being in her car in order to place those items for her. He additionally stayed inside of her vehicle for a short period of time in order to consume a personal quantity of controlled substances. Upon doing that, he stated that he left the vehicle in an unlocked condition and eventually made his way to another establishment in Chesterton. After that, he left for parts and whereabouts not necessarily known or not disclosed, because by Mr. Dillard's own admission, either he didn't know, didn't remember, or didn't want to disclose simply because the events were hazy from a self-induced drug binge, which he described as rough partying. After extensive interviewing, it was determined through a variety of investigative information that probable cause existed to charge Christopher Dillard with the murder of Nicole Gland, and he is presently being held in the Porter County Jail, no bond. This investigation has progressed very rapidly, as do all investigations similar in this nature. As it has been previously reported, this is the first homicide in the town of Chesterton in 3 years.